Ryan Patel is a world-renowned futurist and go-to authority on political economy, global business and corporate governance. Ryan, thank you for joining me in the South by Southwest studio. I've got to ask you, is this your first time to Australia?
This is my first time, and I'm still shocked that I'm saying that, but I am having a blast being here.
Fantastic. And what about South by Southwest? What's your connection to that?
So I was part of one of the keynotes at South by Southwest Austin this past year. I think out of the 7 keynotes, we were one of the few business keynotes on the stage talking about AI.
Fantastic. And AI, as you mentioned, it's dominating conversations around the world. And you brought to South by Southwest Sydney a session with Manaha Palluri. Can you give us an overview of what it was that you talked about?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think of AI, there's a lot of conversations. I think for me, it's, how are we shaping the future as we are creating innovation right now in AI, but what are we working on in the future that we need to be aware of? And I think we think of collaboration, we think of competition. There's a lot of different things that are out there, open source, closed source. So why I say these things are these are conversations that need to be had not just in the tech community, but also in all kinds of communities, right? Because AI affects, or technology affects across all industries, and it's going to get disruptive.
Yeah.
And so really understanding what that means for your own sector and how you're going to use it. And I think there's always see pluses and minuses to any kind of technology, and really talk about those things. Is it ethics and the bias? Is it being more efficient and productive to allow you to be more creative, right? So there is this type of conversation that needs to be happening right now.
And do you see it happening a lot, or is it something that you think people are wary of?
I think people are wary of.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of extreme views, which is fine because everyone's really touching it. For me, my hands are in across globally. So I see it in boardrooms, I see it at a consumer level, and I think people just want to understand it. And I think in our session we had north of, I think they told me 200 questions that I was trying to take them throughout. And I think people were engaged when you think of the openness that you can have and include everybody. I think technology and AI should be meant to be inclusive, and I think there's some great ideas in there, and how do you continue the ethos of that?
So what's one key takeaway you hope attendees left with after hearing your session, Shaping the Future of AI, Collaboration or Competition?
It's simple. Always be learning, and always be curious, and always ask questions.
Yes.
And so when you think about that, what does that mean? That means there's no one going to hand you the research, the data to understand it. You have to actually empower yourself to be at least knowledgeable of a good foundation, so then you can be in the conversation. If you can't come to the table, no one's going to grab us to the table to say, here's what we're talking about.
I guess you could apply that across the board, couldn't you, to so many aspects of life?
Yeah, I mean, I also think that, AI, another takeaway I would say is that it is here. And it's not going anywhere. Yeah. And so I think you got to embrace that.
Yeah. And what role do you think that South by Southwest Sydney plays in shaping the future of your field?
I mean, I think you have to have conversations, and you have to have conversations at a deep level. And so the fact that you can run into people come up to me and, hey, I loved your session. You asked my question. I wanted to ask this. What's your thoughts? Can you grab coffee? Right? When you're in that, people have the same mindset. They're not afraid to come up.
Yeah.
And you're around. I think, isn't that what we're supposed to do as
That's
a community? Right. And again, from all walks of life. So not just from the tech sector. It could be from healthcare, music, gaming. That's a really fun conversation to have.
Absolutely. And how do you think South by Southwest Sydney can change the trajectory of someone's career or business?
Well, I think it opens up that it's, I think South by Sydney, I know South by Southwest Sydney is Australia, but I think it's more than just Australia. It's more than just the Southeast Asia region. It's about to be more global. And so I think maybe there's these ideas that think bigger, that it is innovation starts here, right, versus adopting innovation and bringing it here, right? But Australia's been really great at, taking innovation and adapting really quickly, but I think it's the vice versa now.
Yeah, and are there any speakers or sessions that you're excited to check out at South by Southwest Sydney?
Yes.
Yes.
Me.
Really?
No,
you?
I'm kidding. I mean, I'm excited to be a part. This is Working Life with Lisa Leong on the ABC News podcast, and the future of 2050. What a manager's going to look like, right? And having that conversation about the future of work. So I'm biased and I'm a part of it, but I think that conversation is going to be very intriguing because as new technology is growing, the human aspect of it has to change too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And also when you talk about it affecting different aspects of the community, it's a matter of making people aware that it can affect them as well. And you know, you talk about creatives and music and stuff, but it can affect all sorts, film production, everything can be influenced by it.
And where would you go to have these conversations?
True.
So you would, you know, I think this is a great place to go and see how everyone else is handling that, you know, for positives and negatives.
Yeah, that's right. Now, it is your first time, as I asked, in Australia. Is there anything that you desperately want to see or do whilst you're here?
Everything.
Everything. Oh,
like
perfect.
I want all the food. You know, people were like, I saw Opera House. So I wanted to try all the food. Yeah. I know it's a very foodie town. You know, obviously, I'm got to get to go to Bondi. I will get to do that. But I want to hang out where the locals hang out. No offense, and that's where I want to go.
No, I'm locals. No offense taken. Let's hang out. I'll take you to the good places.
I'm in. I'll skip the interviews. Let's go do that.
I can highly recommend checking out some of the amazing food in a lot of the multicultural hubs here in Sydney. Is just, oh my goodness.
I mean, you could have found me in Thai Town the other day. I ate at 3 different places for lunch.
Yeah, so. Brilliant. Oh, excellent. I love it. And as a futurist, can you share some insights on the most significant global trends you foresee impacting businesses in the next decade?
Well, I mean, I would say in the short term, right? You know, people say things like, you know, productivity and those kind of things, but I'll give you a tangible, like the AI PC is going to be something in the short term, how it's going to affect how people interact with their computer, right? How it reads emails, summarizing it, just almost like fintech, how you pay with your phone. This is something, a technology everyone will have on their laptops. And so it'll change the way summarize things, read things, even if you choose kind of wanting to do it or not, it's going to be a tool. Yeah. And so how you use that tool to your purpose and how it becomes a norm, you know, regardless if you want it or not, is there. And I think we're going to see a big change.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here. Thank you so much for joining us, Ryan, in the South by Southwest Sydney studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And you can check out more of these videos on youtube.com/South by Southwest Sydney.